We're going to learn about heliographs, whatever they are. Let's see. A heliograph is a semaphore device used for sending optical communications. So there's a lot of tough words there, but communication you should know. Usually in the form of Morse code by reflecting flashes of sunlight off a mirror. Heliographs were used for rapid communication, repeated ideas, across expansive distances for military, surveying, and forestry purposes during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. But they were largely effective only during the daytime, and the range of the device depended on factors such as the opacity of the air and the line of sight. Therefore, heliographs were eventually replaced by technology that, I don't know, was better? Something like that? Or was, not limited by the daytime? Something like that. Let's just say it was better, and let's see what that gets us. A, worked on similar principles, but was easier to produce and maintain. Well, easier to produce and maintain sounds better, but we need to improve the way it works. So we don't want to work on similar principles. We want to change the principles. The principles were bad, so you can only use it during the daytime. That's a principle that needs to be changed. So no. B, was not so constrained by environmental circumstances such as daytime or nighttime, right? Environmental circumstances, that could be just what time of day it is. And then they talk about also the thinness of the air, right? So the opacity of the air and the line of sight. So those could be environmental things. I don't know, right? Environmental circumstances is so vague that could apply to all sorts of things. But I'll keep it in. C, could be used for more, it was replaced by technology that could be used for more than military surveying or forestry purposes. Okay, well, that also says it's better, but it's not better in a way that, the point is, it's not just we want it to do more things. The problem with the heliograph is that it has this flaw. So we really want to fix the flaw, right? The but is telling us what the flaw was. So the more purposes just doesn't seem right. Enabled communication that didn't require knowledge of Morse code. Well, the Morse code thing wasn't the problem. Right? The but doesn't talk about the Morse code being an issue. It talks about daytime and it talks about the thinness or the opacity of the air. So yeah, I'm going to go with B, right? Constrained means restricted. That's a classic kind of SAT word, right? They could have just said restricted or limited, but they chose a slightly harder word to see how well you know harder words. And yeah, that's going to matter. But I would say that's one that you should have encountered by the time you take the SAT. I don't care. I mean, maybe if you're not a native English speaker, but if you are and you don't know what constrained means, you got to read more. So, that kind of thing could matter. But, you don't want to get something like this wrong if you are a native English speaker because you don't know that word constrained. This is an easy question. I do not think constrained is that difficult of a word. So, if that is the problem here for you, I stand by my advice. You got to read more and you got to look up words whenever you don't know them.